All right. Let's first examine what the four rules say. It says a central angle is equal to 2 times an inscribed angle. So that means whatever the inscribed angle is, the central angle will be that times 2. Or if you know the central angle, you need to find the inscribed angle, you will divide by 2. Okay? So which one of these 4 problems seems to fit rule 1?
That one.
This one, this one, this one, or this one?
That one. C?
You guys agree it's C?
C.
Okay. Really shouldn't get it wrong. It's kind of straightforward. This is the only one that has both the central angle and an inscribed angle. Inscribed angle is an angle that uses the edge of the circle as a vertex. Okay. So if a central angle equals twice the inscribed angle, which one's the central angle here? X or point? X is the central angle, and this is the inscribed angle, right? So does this have to be bigger or smaller than 20?
Bigger.
Bigger. So we will multiply by what? 2. So X will be what? 40. Okay. Cool. Do the similar one on your worksheet. 30 seconds. Alright. Next rule. Circumscribed square over inscribed circle. Circumscribed means on the outside. Outside. Inscribed means on the inside. Inscribed square over circumscribed circle. So the ratio of a circumscribed square over an inscribed circle is 4 over pi. The ratio of an inscribed square over circumscribed circle is 2 over pi. I know. I've been practicing, and I'm still not very good at it. This is about the areas, okay? So which problem, A, B, C, or D, seems to be about that?
D.
D, okay. Now, if you're given the area of the square, okay, is this an inscribed square or a circumscribed square?
That's a circumscribed.
Fernando, pay attention. Is this an inscribed square or a circumscribed square?
Circumscribed.
Circumscribed. How do we know?
Because it's on the edge,
It's on the outside. So, is this rule the first half of the rule or the second half of the rule?
The first.
First half. Okay. So if we're given the square area as 8, and here's what we need to have. We have 8 over the circle that we want to know is equal to 4 over pi. You guys see what I did?
Yeah.
I set up a ratio, basically a proportion. I want to figure out what this is. So, does anyone see how we'll figure this out?
On the level one it says pi over 2.
Yeah, that's for the other one.
Oh, you have to back.
Yeah, well, it's because they're reciprocated.
And then it says
Because on the other one, the circle's written over the square.
Yeah.
It's reversible. You reverse the circle and the square, you have to reverse the ratio.
okay.
Okay? If it's square over circle, 4 over pi. Or inscribed square over circumscribed circle, 2 over pi. Here's the way you can really keep track of it. The regular number applies to the square, which makes sense. The pi will always apply to the circle. It makes sense that way. Because pi is for circles. It's not for
Does
squares.
it matter if you put like the pi on top over the board?
You have to put the circle on top. If you put the circle on top, then you put
Yeah.
the pi on top.
Would you put? Does it
You can
matter?
write it either way. I mean, you know. If I had turned this entire equation upside down, it would still be true. Okay? But how do we solve this fraction equal to this fraction? It's a proportion. How do we solve it? We've done this before.
Divide.
Cross multiply. It's a proportion. Okay, so what's 8 times pi? 8 pi equals 4 times the circle. Maybe that's not so great because it looks like a 0. But
Just put a
about
dash.
a circle. If I want to find the area of the circle, what am I going to do? You're missing the point. Divide by what? By 4. You have to think about what's right in front of you. You set up a proportion, you solve the proportion. This doesn't look too good, so we're gonna do this again. The area of the circle equals 8 pi divided by 4, which is
4 pi. No, 2 pi.
2 pi. Okay. Let's do it again. I'm going to change that 8 units squared to a different number. Let's do 16 units squared. I want you guys to find this, so let's set up the proportion. Is this circumscribed or inscribed, this square?
Circumscribed.
Circumscribed. So what's the ratio it's going to be equal to?
4 over pi.
4 over pi. So 4 over pi is equal to the one that we know, 16 over the area of the circle. It's a proportion. You should be cross-multiplying without even thinking about it. Every proportion you've ever solved worked the same way. So that has to stick in your head. So what do I multiply?
16 pi.
So 16 pi equals
4.
4 area of the circle. So then what do I do?
Divide.
Divide by what? 4. And I get area of the circle equals, what's 16 pi divided by 4? 4 pi.
Well, it was just pretty much double because it was 8 to 16.
As soon as you start thinking that way, something's going to throw you off. Do the exact thing that it says. You'll start to make a good, I mean, you're working on conjecture, but it needs to be comprehensive conjecture. All right, try to do the ones that are on your worksheet. Just set up the proportion and solve it. They're pretty simple proportions. Is it? Okay, so the area of the circle is 25 pi. So then, right? And so then, why are you putting the 25 on top? What are you trying to find?
What are those?
Things that make sense. So much more helpful.
Why did you put the 16 on top of the area of the circle again?
Square over circle equals square over circle. That's all it is. Square over circle, square over circle.
Okay.
It's a formula. Wow.
So 25 was on 1.
Let's see what you got. Let's try this. You got to do this. I'm looking around. I'm not seeing what I wanted to see. If the area of the circle is 16 pi, we're going to use that to find the square. So, which one is circumscribed, the square or the circle?
On the square side.
You can't get that wrong. Don't say anything until you're sure. You guys sound like you're guessing, you're just saying things, but the answer is obvious. Which one is circumscribed? Square. You can tell because it's bigger. It's not hard. You should not get that wrong. That's the exact same thing you get wrong on your quizzes. You can't afford that. Okay, so which one's going to go on top here, the square or the circle? Square. So what we're going to write is, again, 4 over pi is equal to, now which one do we know, the square or the circle?
Circle.
Circle. So should I put that on top or on bottom?
Bottom.
Bottom, because the bottom represents the circle. What will go on top?
A square.
A square.
A square.
Perfect. Okay, so cross multiply. So it's going to be a square times pi is equal to, what's 4 times 16? 64 pi. There's something we can cancel out on both sides of this.
Pi.
Pi. Oops. Divide by pi, divide by pi. The area of the square is going to be, what's 64 pi divided by pi?
64.
64. Not pi. You're dividing out the pi.
Oh, that's the area of the square. 64.
So the area of the square equals 64.
This square don't have pi.
I'm sorry? It's like it's discipline. When you divide something, it goes away. It shouldn't be there anymore. Those are the kind of mistakes that should have disappeared a long time ago. Attention to what you're doing and not making mistakes. Yep. Perfect. What do you guys get for the big square?
100.
100. What do you get for the small square?
50.
50. These are easy. They're a snap. If you're disciplined, you'll get them in a couple of seconds. I don't ever even put my pencil on the problems. All right, third rule. Tangents. What does the symbol say? Perpendicular. What does perpendicular mean?
They intersect at 90.
They intersect at 90-degree angle. So tangents are perpendicular to radii. What are radii?
I know this.
Kind of obvious.
Radius.
More
Two
than
radius. Two radius.
2 or more radius is. So you don't say radiuses. Some people do, but radii is proper. Okay, so which one of these appears to be talking about a tangent and a radius? Okay, what's the tangent here?
I want to know. A.
What's the tangent?
Oh.
The line is the tangent. Do we have a radius here?
Yeah.
Yep. It's this, right?
Yeah.
So very simple, but you have to recognize it. It's very simple, but you have to recognize it. What is the measure of x here?
90.
90. We know it's 90
Because
because
it's a
they are perpendicular. The definition of perpendicular is intersecting at a 90-degree angle. So this is a clue. And a lot of times the variable isn't actually given. You just have to see it. And when you see it, the problem opens itself up for you. Okay, so a simple but important rule.
That's it? All we just had
That's all you gotta do.
Just-
You wanna, yeah. This is a building block, okay? It's not really a problem in itself. It's just a building block to hard problems. And believe me, we can build a lot off of it. Okay, last rule. Chords intersect, what's this word here?
proportionally.
Proportionally, okay?
Oh, I saw one of those on the test.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you probably didn't know what to do, but as soon as you see it, it'll be a piece of cake. So which one will be chords intersecting proportionally? B, of course, because each one of these is a segment that intersects the circle at the edge, right? Okay, the way you write the proportion, usually I like to think of it as this. Left over left equals right over right. It's very easy. So in other words, 3 over 6 equals 2 over x. And since we've already seen some harder proportions today, this should be a piece of cake.
3x times equals 12.
Okay, 3x equals 12. What did you do there, Alex?
Cross multiply.
Cross multiply. Okay? 4. So x equals what? 4. Simple. The math we're doing here is pre-algebra at best. Some of it isn't even math. Okay. All right. Has everybody finished their level 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we do a level 2 problem?
Yeah.
Level 2s are going to get a little bit crazy, but